welcome back. So, you don't know if the video's out yet. It's been a crazy 6-8 months. I have not been working on cars really. Life, trying to get my shop done, all that kind of stuff. I hadn't really had time to work and stuff. On that note, just before that got cleared and got ready to build the shop, I threw cams in this. I screwed up and I did not torque the cam phaser bolts. I got about 15 miles on it, and I'm pretty sure that cam phaser bolt backed out. I don't know the extent of how bad it is. Once this happened, I sourced another set of heads so I can rod the valves out of it to put in this head. Hopefully none of the pistons are cracked, none of those problems. So I'm going to rip this apart. This is going to be time lapse pretty much. I got to get it down to bare heads. Pretty much, I've drained the coolant, drained the oil. How much coolant I've drained out, I don't know. I have not pulled the bolts, the seals on the block, the pipe plugs on the block. I'm at the point. I don't care, it just is what it is. So my goal tonight, it's 5 o'clock on a Saturday. Tomorrow we're working on the shop, so I won't be able to work on this tomorrow. We're at the point we're putting the roof on the shop, so I can't really do it by myself, so it kind of leaves Mondays and Tuesdays, which are my days off, open. So I figured I might as well get this in and start getting this going. So hopefully by the end of the night, I got front end of the motor off, valve covers off, intake off, timing chains off, and I'm like basically pulling the heads. So, ripped apart my Mustang, heads down on the ground, bent all the intake valves on cylinder 1 through 4, passenger side. So now I need valves. Luckily, I had rated another set of heads that I had found. And I found a blown motor a while ago. I bought it, and it was right after I did this. I was pretty sure I knew what it was, and having a spare set of heads isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I went and picked up a motor, ripped it all apart, took everything I wanted off of it. It had a rod hanging out of the side of the block. So for what I paid for it, I was able to scrap everything, make my money back, and keep everything I wanted. So I ended up with like a good set of cam phasers, good timing chains, another set of good cam phasers. I bought some Ford-specific OTC tools off the guy because he didn't have a Ford anymore. He had a Mustang that he had put a big turbo on, and he kind of went boom boom with it, put another motor in it, and got rid of it. But that's not a big deal. I kept everything because I wanted to know what I had, what I was going to need. I got another front cover. I have a spare set of valve covers. I have some VVT valves. I have the heads.
I didn't keep block, crank, rods, pistons, oil pan, oil pump, none of that. All that got trashed. Yeah. So I kept like spare crank gear, spare trigger. I mean, I kept all kinds of stuff from it. So this is a valve compression tool for 3-valve Fords. I own the one for 4-valve Fords too. A traditional valve spring compressor works, but they're hard because of how far the valve sets it down in the hole. So I don't like using those. I use these on Fords, the overhead cams. It just makes it a little bit easier, especially when you're trying to do the stuff at like home yourself. There is a tool that works on these. It's just very expensive compared to this. It's one of the air-powered ones. It's super cool. It's just really expensive, and I don't do it enough to really need it. So this gets me by, and yeah. So this is what I run, and of course, okay. So these are all stuck, and I didn't whack them with a hammer beforehand. Get you guys down in here. So what happens is the keepers in this are a tapered fit, and it's on there so long that those keepers are pressed into this retainer really good. All I ever do, if you look, I am like on the outside edge. I'm not trying to get the keeper, I'm trying to just hit the retainer. And I'm just going to go through and knock all of these because of that. So it's, you know, out here on the edge. And it doesn't take a whole lot. Normally, if I do this beforehand, I'll do it with a socket. It jars them just enough so that when you tighten the tool down, the keepers stay. It pushes down on the retainer, collapses the valve, collapses the spring. The other thing I may have to do is shove a rag or two under each cylinder. Nope, that one's working. So now it's time for stuff I use, and we'll see if this is too big. Yep, too big. Well, that one sucks. Oh, it's got to go down more. Huh, wrong one. I do this with I don't do this with an impact. I do it with ratchets. It's stainless on aluminum. for all the hardware, and I just don't want to gull it up because I need it to work till the point of I have this head done. So I have bought new valve stem seals. I got to run to the store here, get some supplies. I am out of valve grinding compound. So I got to run to the store, get some supplies here in a few. Sorry. Saturday I took it apart. Saturday night. Today's not Monday. Yesterday we worked in the shop. I got about half the roof up now. So hopefully in the next few weekends, I have the rest of it done. And here pretty soon, I won't be really working in this shop anymore. It's done me super well for the last 5 or so years since I moved in here. I think we're at 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. I was very lucky and blessed to be able to have what I have here. I was talking to my sister on Thanksgiving, actually. She couldn't. One, my sister couldn't believe that I'm building myself a bigger shop. And then we started talking. And we couldn't believe that I own a house. Because let's just say I was never the most responsible person. All right. How do I have a piece of plastic right there? I don't know where that came from. Whatever. So delicious. Rockstar, you should sponsor me. Because I've probably single-handedly kept your Phoenix warehouse running. So pretty much my goals today are get I want to get everything prepped. I want to get the block prepped, the heads prepped. I want to get everything together and ready where essentially tomorrow I can put it back together. Maybe you'll do it later today. It was always going to be, this was either the last car I worked on in this shop or the first car I worked on in the new shop. So a lot of people are like, oh, what's going on? Why not just use this head? Well, this has some scoring on the cam journals. I was actually going to get these heads rebuilt. And I was trying to find somebody that had there is a company called Durabond, makes bearings. And they sell a
reamer, basically, that you bore these out, and Durabond sells a bearing for them where you can essentially put bearings in Ford heads, which is awesome. TrickFlow was doing that back in the day. I think they still do on their heads. They have a bearing that the journal actually rides on, so you can replace bearings in it, like, you know, the rest of motors. I cannot find anybody in the Phoenix Valley that has one. I would love it if we could. I'm not going to chuck these castings because I would love to, you know, throw a set of ported heads on my car, but I don't want to chuck these, not be able to use them. So you guys know anybody in the Phoenix Valley, it's got a Durabond set up for 3-valve or 4-valve or 2-valve heads. I'm pretty sure the cam journals are all the same, if I recall correctly. I may be wrong. I know 2-valve and 3-valves are the same. I don't know about the 4-valve. I mean, I could probably, I got a 4-valves cams floating around here. I could mic them and put them up against my cams and find out. But I even looked at buying them. The problem is buying it is like this price of another set of heads. So having the Durabond setup is cool. And if I did a lot more work on 3-valve, 2-valve Fords, I would definitely purchase it because it's only like, I want to say it's like $1,500 for the bar, the ends, and there's a few different ends, bore size basically you can buy. Because I would not mind owning one of those. I love the 3-valves, and I know a lot of people hate them. And I'll give you my outlook here in a minute on them. I understand that it's kind of a dead technology by most people's standards anymore because the Coyote and, you know, overhead cam 4-valves and all of that, which I get, but at the exact same time, Coyote prices have came down, but Coyote prices are not what I believe is reasonable. So then the whole PCM setup you got to run on those compared to the 2-valve or the 4-valve Fords is different. So my outlook on these 3-valve motors is a 3-valve Mustang GT makes as much power as 99 to 02. I forget exactly which years they did and didn't have a Cobra, because I don't think they had a Cobra in 2000 or they didn't have a Cobra in 2001. So non-Terminator, but basically the same motor, semi Marauder. It is the 4.6 4-valve, and they make 300 horse. And this 4.6 3-valve makes 300 horse. I love this body style. I remember when they came out when I was, early 20s. because it came out in 05. Son was born in 03, 02. Austin was born in 02, so he would have been 3 when these came out. So I would have been like 24, 25. Right around in there. Oh, dude, I loved it. It was like that throwback, that front grille, man. Throwback to like the 69. The way they look, you know. I want to do with this car, I really want to do like a I would say a tribute to the Mach 1. And not the new Mach 1s, but like 69 Mach 1s. So I want to do the same stripe package they did on the Mach 1. Really, my goal, motor-wise, I just wanted to do a turbo on this, and really, I kind of got to the point where I don't even think I want to do a turbo on it. I really just want to do a 5.4 4-valve. I have a, oh, it's right here. I'm blind and stupid. I would love to do a 5.4 4-valve or a 5.4 3-valve. Either one. Not like trying to make gobs of power or, you know, outrun anything and everything, but throw some extra power in it, kind of like the Mach 1. It just, you know, I wouldn't really say dominated, but it definitely held its own. Dude, these valves are clean. Kit on it and do all the stuff I wanted to do to make that thing cool. So on this head, I am trying not to take the header off because I do not want to put another header gasket on it, and that saves me like $50. Now, you gotta keep in mind, I put about 8 miles on this thing since I installed this cam, and then, you know, blew it up. So I'm not really concerned about watching where every lifter or every rocker was, because they have not been in long enough to break, and they were brand new. The cam was brand new. So I'm not really trying to pay real close attention to that because it's not going to matter. So now I just got to repeat this process on this head, take all these valves out. And if I wasn't just trying to get this thing running again so I could drive it, I would have bought springs. Most people are aware factory springs are just kind of weak. So I usually upgrade them to essentially like the next better spring. I don't try to go crazy with it unless my cam needs something crazy, but I believe that factory springs are weak. And I believe when you're trying to hot rod something, you need something with a little more spring rate because you're going to try to make it live at a higher RPM range than what it was really intended for. And what I mean by that is it's going to see red line a lot more than standard car enthusiasts, especially at the point you put cams in it or you've done like I've done where it's got a whole bunch of suspension work, it's got a whole bunch of other stuff done. So I normally do that, but I'm not sure how crazy I'm going to end up going with this car. And my problem is I want to keep this car a very good driver. I want this car where I can jump in it, go on a road trip with the wife, not worried about it breaking down, not worried about it modified it. And it's not like I'm afraid to tune the car or anything, but it's just more of a, I'm not trying to put a nasty cam in it where it doesn't want to idle in traffic or it gets hot or any of that stuff. So just want something that's a good driver, makes a little bit more power, has a little bit more fun. And I have been looking at buying another one of these cars and doing all the stuff that I want to do to one of these cars. Do a 3-valve 5.4 swap or do a 4-valve 5.4 swap in it. Basically make a, I call them a GT 5.4. GT 500's a 5.4 with a supercharger. So I just want to do either a 5.4 4-valve NA or a 5.4 4-valve turbo. I would love to shove a 6-speed in one of these cars. My problem though, it's $5,000 to put the freaking Magnum XL in this thing, and I do not want to spend $5,000 on a transmission. Not that eventually I wouldn't, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, and with this car, I'm not worried about blowing up the tranny. It's just, it needs synchros. It does not like high RPM shift. I want to pull it out and go through it, but by the time I go through this 5-speed, it's like $700. Synchros, bearings, blocker rings, all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure the MT82, which is 6-speed out of the Coyotes, would be more than adequate holding up the power I'm going to make. Yes, they still brake, but I believe they brake as much as the TR3650, which is what I have. But it changes from a pulse width speedo to a Hall effects speedo. And I've not found any documentation or on anybody that has swapped one of these, an MT82, into one of these cars on a factory PCM. Because everything I read is, oh, you got to go to the Coyote PCM, which I don't want to do because it's not like a direct play. So I don't mind like doing an MT82 swap if I could find like an adapter or some box, because that I'm not so worried about. Like, oh, if my quit working on a hot, on or something, a town, it's not the end of the world. I, pull phone, run a GPS speedo if I need to. I have Apple CarPlay, so I can, run the speedo off of the maps function that shows you how fast you're going. So it'll be the end of the world, but not having speedo in general, don't necessarily like. So, I mean, if anybody won, send me a link, drop it in the comments, something out, because that'd be awesome. Because I can pick an MT82 up for like $500. Even if I had to go through that one, like I'd throw it on the bench and go through it before I have to worry about putting it in the car. And I'd have no problem tossing a clutch in it. So that's what's stopping me from putting a 6-speed in it, is the Magnum XL is not cheap. And not that I don't think it's worth it. It's just I don't think it's worth it for what I'm gaining currently. Now, if this transmission's completely grenaded, then I got to buy another transmission, and then I got to put a clutch in it, and I got to go through that transmission that I buy because it grinds or whatever. I got to buy a new case or whatever I got to do with my trans. It will probably be worth the effort at that point of just screw it and buy it. But my trans currently works fine, other than it does not like shifting at redline, which really, really bothers me. But also stops me from power shifting that car everywhere, because there's plenty of times I would be doing that. And now we're getting to the point I get to flip all this over and we get to see how bent valves are. Yay! I'd probably help if I release that. I don't want to mess those threads up. This is on the head I need to keep. So now a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you got to check the installed height. Man, I am replacing this with factory valves. And I will tell you right now, there is no way that Ford would put such a tight tolerance on these that you could not swap out factory valves for factory valves. They just wouldn't do it. Oh, yes, there we go. There So I got lifters falling out. Every one of these had tap valves, and I am not going to take a chance any of them, which is why I'm just going to replace them all with the ones that I have, because those don't look like they're setting flat. That one definitely doesn't, and I have all the stuff to do it. Now these valves do not look as good as those valves, but it just is what it is. This is not super dirty. Looks pretty good. So I have to go get some valve lapping compound, and we're going to clean these heads all up. There's some carbon buildup on them, but nothing super major. So yeah, I might start looking at some of these valves, because I bet, yeah, that one's got a wobble to it. Yeah, it's not. I'll show you. So what I'm going to look at here is the end of that valve, and it's just got a slight wobble. So they're not bent a whole lot, but they're bent enough. Oh, it's got a little bit in it, just a hair. So yeah, I got the witness marks on the pistons. Yeah, that one's pretty good right there. Yep. So other than that, the head doesn't look horrible. There's some carbon buildup on it, but I can clean all that up, and we'll get it all up and get it going.